Hi, guys. Hey, hey, welcome back. All right, Scorpios. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Scorpios, this is a message for the bridge between 2025 and 2026. Just because we're wrapping up this year, but we're not into the next year yet, so we got a little bit of time. We're also wrapping up the year of the snake and about to head into the year of the horse. That'll happen, of course, in February for the Chinese New Year. So we have this interesting gap of time where I just think it's fun to take a look at what is that space of time for, like what's going on in that little space of time. And so let's take a peek. So this will slosh into 2026, but I want to see kind of like where is Scorpio at right now and what's kind of transformed, what's being burned out as we close out one year. Five of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles, Three of Swords. All right. So in this case for Scorpio, we've got somebody fighting the good fight to get beyond a heartbreak, to get beyond a loss, to get beyond anything that they were holding on to that was like a sorrow. And it could even be like, I'm finally purging something that I realize, man, this bothered me for a really long time. And this is the point in my life where I don't want to remember this. You see all the elephants here? I don't want to remember that Three of Swords anymore. Why would that be something that I've got to pack up and lug with me into the next year? So this could be the time that Scorpio takes a look, takes stock of things and says, what kinds of unfinished business have I maybe intentionally left alone because I didn't want to unpack it and deal with it because it might have been upsetting? Well, let me go ahead and say, maybe I don't even need to unpack it. Maybe I just need to get rid of it, donate it. I'm literally picturing somebody who is like, they've got a box of stuff. Maybe it belonged to an ex or something. And it's like, I know someday I need to go ahead and open it all up and, maybe reach out and be like, hey, would you like this stuff back, or go through it? And it's like, no, what if I don't? Or this is somebody going through their phone saying, I know I'm going to have to go through and delete those old photos, but that means I got to look at all of them. No, maybe our character doesn't. Maybe they can just move them into another file and delete the whole file. Maybe they can sidestep having to relive things that maybe for a while they weren't wanting to, because everything seems like it was tucked in a dark room for a long time. So whatever this was, it's not like our character has to air it out and they've got to do this, sudden like hyperdrive on all my shadow work at once. It's more like maybe they can actually just let this whole thing go. It doesn't have to take up space in their memory banks anymore. It doesn't have to eat up space in their closet. It doesn't have to be that big thing that's still hanging over them that's unfinished in the back of their mind. We have the Star. This is really healing. I do think that we may have a Scorpio who's like giving something, surrendering it up to the universe. Just sending something upward into the cosmos and saying, I can let this go. That's all right. Why don't I just say it's been a long road, but this is not the road I'm on anymore. That was my life, whatever, a year ago. That was my life a long time ago, but the road ahead of me doesn't include this memory or doesn't include this thing that I've been carrying anymore. So I do feel like this is Scorpio basically letting go, because when we keep something in the back of our mind that we haven't dealt with, it can be like that heavy, like thorn, that's always poking us, right? But on the other hand, if we let go of something, then we're free of it. And we sometimes replace that energy with something else that we really want, instead of the thing that we remember all the time we don't want to deal with. It's fatiguing to remind ourselves that we don't want to deal with something, but it's there pressing on us all the time. It's like me and part of my garage that I still need to finish tidying. And I'm like, I need to do it. And it's always in the back of my mind. It's not done. It's not done. And I really want to, go ahead and, finish that part of my garage. And that stays in my mind. And this says, okay, let's change gears. Instead, I think Scorpio is going to find something else to look forward to. That's how, Strength card and Lovers. It could also be that Scorpio is ready now to go ahead and say, I actually do want to heal from this. And maybe the best way to do it, the best way to forget something else, is to replace it with something new. This is not like, in order to get over somebody, get under somebody else. It's not that, because this has already been played out for quite a while. It's just that maybe Scorpio had unfinished business in their, of the, not even something left to say to somebody, but just the sorrow that they still had carried. And this is them saying, but I don't want to finish that business. I just want to move on now. I want to meet somebody different. And I think this is where our Scorpio is at. So they might be gearing themselves up, revving themselves up to go ahead and meet somebody new, not hold on to a past anymore. Because this is the year of the snake, I will say, it's been different for every zodiac, but there has been like probably 4 zodiacs, I think, that had a little bit of the same message of letting go of something that was hurtful and had been heavy for a long time. Hi guys, nice to see everybody. Thanks for being here, Scorpio crew. Also, Scorpios, don't forget, if you guys don't already know this, I create Scorpio videos all the time, all of the zodiacs, and I have playlists for each one. I just recently found out somebody believes I only put out one per month, and that couldn't be further than the truth. So Scorpio, I think this is your 8th video already just this month alone. I think you guys had like 11 last month. So anyway, if you guys don't know, probably the best way, because I know YouTube doesn't always give you the notifications, because they'll only send out so many notifications for content. And I do a lot of content. So if you're ever looking for Scorpio videos, just click on that playlist tab on my channel, and then you can scroll down to Scorpio. And if you click on the Scorpio playlist, what you'll see is the most recent to the oldest. So you'll always be up to date on what the newest video is. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys, those of you who thought I don't do Scorpio videos, because we do a lot of them. Thank you guys for being here. I'm trying to help and make it easier to find them. So thank you guys so much for caring enough to find the Scorpio videos. With this 3 of Wands, this is all about the future. Everything here says the same message to me again and again. Scorpio is done feeling sad. They're done feeling wounded. And most importantly, they're done remembering it. They want to replace an old memory of, and keep in mind, a memory is something that already happened. It's not like I see this person every day and I miss them every day. No, this is somebody who's not even in Scorpio's realm. So why should Scorpio be holding space for them instead of meeting somebody new? And so I love the fact that Scorpio is like, I'm all about my future. So this is the bridge Scorpio seems to be crossing over. Is it's becoming appealing, even exciting. I do think Scorpio could be sending a little like wish up to the cosmos. Like, let me meet somebody that is very different from the person of my past. Let me meet somebody that's a real lover, not a fighter, somebody who's not a runner, somebody who's a stayer. Let me meet somebody that I can have moonlit night walks with. Let me meet somebody, universe, I'm ready to look toward my future. So I know that my future doesn't have my past in it. So how about I forget about that past now and I just look toward the future? But I really see Scorpio like disciplining themselves to say, nope, I'm not going to think about the past. If it pushes back into my memory bank, I'm going to remind myself, this is my year where I lean into my future and I meet somebody new and I move on with my life. 3 of Cups. I got over the mountain. I don't have to remember the mountain anymore. I already got over it. 3 of Cups is definitely new people. Remember the Lover's card can be a card of choice, and the 3 of Cups can also be that way. So Scorpio may have a variety of suitors coming up in this next year. Scorpio could be looking forward to that. It's nice to know that we have choices in who we may fall for or who we might end up loving. Everybody always has choices, right? Our heart is our very own most precious thing that we could ever share with somebody else. And we get to pick who we want to share that with. Nobody has claim to it unless we choose to hand it over to them. And I just like with this 3 of Cups, Scorpio's like, yeah, there are a lot of great people out there. And I'm going to keep thinking about new people. Every time my brain goes to the past, I'm going to actively, even if I go to the grocery store, I'm going to look around and I'm going to say, which one of these people, is attractive to me. I'm going to start to engage with new people, because if I don't do that, then I'm going to go back into my brain and only think about the past. We have the moon, we have the Ace of Swords. What Scorpio does not know is that, yes, they're walking into the unknown, but you never know how quick your life can change. This says Scorpio does not know this yet, but there is a massive change on the horizon. We see them actively making a decision during this bridge time that they're not going to remember the past anymore. They're going to let themselves meet new people, have new experiences, but Scorpio doesn't know just how swiftly something in their life could change. Now, this could be, meeting a new great love, or it could be that Scorpio's life gets so freaking busy. They're like, I My God, I totally forgot about the past because I haven't got time to think about it. We have the Fool. That could be an Aries. Could be somebody who leaps into Scorpio's life, or it could be that Scorpio is off on a brand new adventure in 2026 that they could not have predicted. They would not have seen this coming. So this is not something that Scorpio would be like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to be doing something different in 2026. They couldn't have seen this. With the Knight of Wands, there is passion, there is desire. I'm wondering if Scorpio is going to be suddenly, invited somewhere, go somewhere they didn't expect to go, meet somebody. Scorpio could be a bit of the heartbreaker. Scorpio could have some fun dalliances or some things that are quite exciting. We have an Eight of Cups. Scorpio might do a little bit of love them and leave them here because we also still have the Hermit card coming out after that Eight of Cups. But we go to the Ten of Cups, to the Temperance card, and to the Ten of Wands in the reverse. I actually think this kind of hints that at least for the beginning of 2026, everything is going to shift. The shoe is going to be on the other foot. I know Scorpio is like, I'm all about my future. I want to meet new people. I'm not going to think about my ex anymore. But what I don't think that they would have guessed is that they could feel so lighthearted, that they could have an adventure on the horizon for themselves, that they could wind up meeting other people. And they might be the ones who are like, I'm only in town for this like crazy thing that I was invited to go do, or my job asked me to go do. So I'm only in town for like 3 nights. We could date, we could have a fun time, but then I do still have to leave. It could be that Scorpio is the one who kind of winds up being somebody else's, not heartbreak, but somebody else thinks a lot about Scorpio as Scorpio, continues on in their life. We do see a passionate encounter, possibly in the beginning of 2026. And again, this would be very unexpected, but it's Scorpio who doesn't stay. It's Scorpio who moves on. And yet, sometimes, even if we have but a moment to engage with somebody and then we have to keep on moving because our life got super busy all of a sudden, I'm just thinking this is out of the norm. Scorpio doesn't usually date this way, or Scorpio doesn't usually like have this opportunity pop up and then meet somebody and then have some fling. This could just be so out of character for Scorpio. But it also says, just because we meet somebody and we don't have a long time to hang out with them, that doesn't mean that this couldn't still be Scorpio's person, because it says that starts the ball rolling for a happily ever after and a relationship of great balance and peace. And I think this is where Scorpio's like, oh my God, I thought for me to move on from the past, I just needed to be open to meeting somebody new. And it's like, no, Scorpio has to be open to the adventures of life. They have to be willing to say yes to, we don't always pick how everything's going to go in life. Thank you so much, Semanita. You are so sweet. Thank you, darling. Your Albert's doing better. I'm so happy to hear that. Give him an extra little scratch behind the ears. I'm so happy to hear that, darling. This feels like Scorpio's big thing here was that Scorpio needed to be open to life going in a route that they couldn't have foreseen. Sometimes we only know the path we've had, and that becomes familiar terrain. And then we imagine that when we meet the next person, it might be very familiar. It's the way we've always met people. But this says, no, be wide open to the unexpected, Scorpio. Be wide open to meeting people that we didn't expect to meet, feeling feels we didn't expect to have, playing roles that we didn't expect to play, and then having things change our life that we could not have predicted. I love the fact that this says Scorpio's not about to have like a very predictable life. They're about to have something that is not normal for their typical flow. And I just like this energy for them, because this is the thing they didn't know they needed. This is the break from stagnancy. I do feel like 2026, it's the year of the horse. And that Ace of Swords, we definitely have a very prominent horse here. And, the horses, I think of it more like a wild Mustang, like racing wild and free and, like living on slightly different terms. And I'm thinking that that's maybe the best way to look at this for 2026 for Scorpio. So I'm digging this. I'm digging what Scorpio is doing to prepare for 2026. This didn't just have to do with romance. It had to do with freedom, and it has to do with a lifestyle choice, and it has to do with how Scorpio maybe moves forward as a whole. So that was nice to see. Dwayne Anderson, so good to see you. Cinnamon the Sage. Oh my gosh. I hear you, Samanita. He's on a strict diet for a while. What was wrong? Did they sort out what was wrong with your boy? I know you said he had to go to the vet, and obviously he had an upset tum-tum, but you know, Aries dealt with a bunch of that as well, and I've finally got him sorted out also. But yeah, I hope that it wasn't like surgical or anything. I hope everything was a nice smooth fix for him. CDW 1975, so wonderful to see you. Sarah J. You guys, thanks again. It's nice to see everybody. All right. I will see you guys. We still got a couple of zodiacs to get to tonight for the 2026 message, and then I'm gonna like put out a couple of other videos as well. And I want to get to a collective message and a singles video tonight as well. So Anita, I know you always ask, and so I thought I would mention it. But I hope you are well rested also and taking good care of yourself. All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce on out of here. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Oh, and thanks for giving it a thumbs up, you guys. I'm sorry, I always forget to say that, and I so appreciate that.